Wow, thank you very much. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm really happy with the work that I do with the students. I really like encouraging the students. I found myself way more interested, especially in undergraduate education, than I ever anticipated that I would be. Not just in women, not just in physics, not just in science, but in undergraduate education as a whole. So I'm really pleased with this. I'm proud. Thank you very much.
My name is Fred Standley, and I'm here representing the Friends of the Libraries to take part in the presentation of a new recognition for 2011, namely the Alumni Award for Distinguished Writing. Let me take a moment to introduce the Dean of the Libraries, Dr. Julia Zimmerman. And you already have acquaintance with Scott Atwell. This new award is a collaboration between the Friends of the Libraries and the Alumni Association, and it recognizes a living and renowned graduate who has created a distinguished and influential body of published work. Our inaugural recipient is a novelist who took a page from his father's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, but who has earned his own way onto the bestseller lists, and the video will show us more.
After graduating with a degree in criminology from FSU in 1974, Jeff Shaara picked up where his father Michael left off and followed his dad's footsteps to the top of the literary world. After being approached about the possibility of continuing the story his father began, Shaara decided to sell his established business and begin writing. Years later, people write about him. To date, he has penned 10 consecutive New York Times bestsellers and is the only two-time recipient of the American Library Association's prestigious William Young Boyd Award for Excellence in Military Fiction. Among his numerous honors, he counts Florida State University's Artes Award, which he received in the year 2000. Now he adds another garnet and gold distinction to his resume. Please congratulate Jeff Shaara, the winner of the inaugural Alumni Award for Distinguished Writing.
Colleague of Mike Shaara, and to have been chair of English when he won the Pulitzer in 1975 for The Killer Angels. It has been my privilege also to enjoy immensely the talented achievements of Jeff, first with Gods and Generals and The Last Full Measure to complete the father-son trilogy of the Civil War. Now with 11 books published in the last decade and a half, including 10 consecutive New York Times bestsellers, Jeff embodies a high standard of distinguished writing, and we're honored to have him represent the university as the first recipient of this award. His name and that of all future winners will appear on a plaque to be placed in a conspicuous place in the library at the discretion of the dean. And in addition, the individual recipient will receive an award from the two organizations. I'm very pleased to announce Jeff Shaara as the recipient of the Alumni Award for Distinguished Writing.
Wow. After 3 cups of coffee, that 5-minute thing wouldn't have been a problem anyway. I am walking in enormous footsteps. I do not take that for granted What many of you may not realize, Michael Shaara, my father, taught at Florida State from 1959 through 1974, taught freshman English, creative writing and American literature, Shakespeare. His career ended as a result of a tragic motorcycle accident in Florence, Italy, when he was on the faculty of the Florence program for the English department. And he was disabled after that. But the Pulitzer Prize in 1975 was the high point not only of his career, but of his life, and yet it did not really change his life, which is a very sad story in its own. In 1993, the movie Gettysburg premiered, based on The Killer Angels. Ted Turner took an enormous risk. The film Gettysburg propelled my father's book to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list 5 years after my father's death. He had no idea what he left behind. One of the things he left behind is standing before you today. I had no idea when I began writing at the age of 42. I had never written anything before. I had no idea that the way my life would go, the direction it would take, that I would ever be recognized for doing something that he did so well. And here I am. The great pleasure that I get from my work is not just having books on the bestseller list, and obviously that's a very nice thing, but I have come to know through my research and through the writing some of the most amazing people in our history. I mean, a brief laundry list from George Washington to Benjamin Franklin and John and Abigail Adams and Winfield Scott, Robert E. Lee, Ulysses Grant, Blackjack Pershing, Dwight Eisenhower, George Patton. These are the people I work with every day. These are the voices that I am so privileged to be able to hear and give to you. That's the joy, that's the inspiration that drives me to do what I do. And I can't imagine now doing anything else. This is something I hope to be doing for the rest of my life, but no matter how long I do it or how many books I create, I am very aware and will never forget where it started and the footsteps I am walking in. Thank you very, very much for this.
Good morning. My name is Laurel Moordock, and I am thrilled this year to be serving as the chair of the FSU Alumni Association National Board of Directors. In that position, I get to do a lot of cool things, like ride in the parade, meet and embrace FSU's extended family, sit in the president's box. But one of the greatest honors I get to do today is to award the Bernard F. Sliger Service Award to Les Pantene. He has been billed by the Miami Herald as marketer extraordinaire, one of 18 people that helped shape the city of Miami. His legacy is an event, a 10-day event called Carnival Miami. It is the largest Hispanic festival in the nation. It began simply as a party on 8th Street. Calle Ocho? That was a hard one for me. Leslie is not only the life of the party, he put the party to life. Les Pantene.
This is Calle Ocho. You can see wall-to-wall people for 23 blocks of Southwest 8th Street.
After 30 years and 30 million visitors, Leslie Pantene is still amazed at how it all began.
He had hired little trains to come up and down Calle Ocho so that people could transit from one side of the street from one end of the street to the other one, and it ended up being so crowded in the first hour that we had to tell them to go home.
It started out as Pantene's Little Open House, a fundraiser during his reign as president of the Little Havana Kiwanis Club. A sign over his office door is a reminder of the event that not only changed Miami, but Calle Ocho's founder as well.
After I got involved in Calle Ocho and the Kiwanis Club of Little Havana, people asked me to get involved in this event or help them out of there, and slowly I started to drift out of the insurance business and formed the PR agency in 1988.
Do you want a bullet here?
Now, through acquisitions and mergers, Pantene's PR firm is one of the largest in Florida, his office wall a timeline of personal and professional success.
Claude Pepper, the Pope, President Bush.
Pantene's love for Miami is eclipsed only by his love for FSU, where he served on the board of directors for Seminole Boosters, the FSU Foundation, and the Alumni Association, at one time simultaneously.
I was much younger, so I could get up earlier on Saturday morning to go to the board meetings.
Pantene's passion for giving back is a product of his upbringing, where his father was a trailblazer of Miami's Cuban-American community. The younger Pantene became the first Cuban-American to serve as president of the Orange Bowl Classic.
Here's a check for $22 million that I signed to pay Nebraska and Tennessee when they played in my game.
Most recently, Pantene served his alma mater as a member of the university's Board of Trustees, the pinnacle of volunteer work that began in the early years of the Bobby Bowden era.
When I came to Florida State in 1976, two of the best kids we were after lived in Miami. So I had to find somebody down there that could help me. Now, back in those days, alumni could help you recruit. Now they can't. And so Les Pantene's name was given to me. So I spent a couple of weeks down there with him. He was single then, and I would stay in his apartment, and we would go out and visit prospects all day long. And he just devoted all of his time with me on that, you know. And really, when I left, he was probably one of the best friends I had from the Seminole Nation. My family had been pretty close to his family. I've known his children since they were babies, you know, coming up, graduating from Florida State. And again, of all the people I met, I don't know of anybody more trustworthy than Les Pantene, and a guy that I enjoyed more out of everybody than him. He's just one of the finest men I ever met.
For his service to Florida State University and for the favorable light shown on his alma mater through works in the community, the Florida State University Alumni Association is proud to recognize Leslie Pantene with its highest honor, the Bernard F. Sliger Award.
Thank you very much. I had a 2-hour speech planned in Spanish, but I decided that my kids said, no, Dad, we need to go back to sleep. I want to thank, this is a great, great award. Before this, the only award I got before was in Cuba when I was in grade school, that I got 2 medals. 1 for attending class, 2 for attending mass. Both I was forced. Okay? I was super sick. My mother would go, Niño, go to school. You'll get cured up there. Don't worry. But I want to thank my family, my wife Martha, who got an award like this from her alma mater, Florida International University, to the whole Alumni Association. This is truly a high honor. I want to thank also the football game for beating Miami last week. that makes our life down there, Chairman Harger, much, much easier. And I'm honored that in this audience is people like President Stan Marshall, who signed my diploma and still hasn't revoked it, and Governor Askew, who was a friend of my father and still a friend of ours. And the most thankful that I'm about Florida State is that 3 years ago, my son graduated from Florida State, and hopefully a month from today, 4 weeks from today, my daughter will graduate. But thank you very much. This is a great honor. Thank you, FSU.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Fisher, and I am the past president for Florida State University Circle of Omicron Delta Kappa. And as is tradition, it is my honor this morning to award our grad made good. This first grad made good is at the top of her profession and has carved a career as one of our nation's nursing leaders. She's Florida State's Florence Nightingale, if you will, and in fact has been awarded the prestigious Florence Nightingale Medal, the highest international honor given to nursing professionals by the International Committee of the Red Cross. A volunteer since college, she has been involved in Red Cross disaster relief efforts that include tornadoes that range from the Midwest to Hurricane Katrina to 9/11 and the tsunami in Indonesia. For a little bit more.
Susan Hassmiller's efforts and impact are felt around our country and around the world. After earning a bachelor degree in nursing and a master's degree in health education from Florida State, Hassmiller rose through the ranks into the top of her field. A former educator at the University of Nebraska and George Mason University, she is currently the senior advisor for nursing at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, where her responsibilities include shaping and leading the foundation's strategies to address the nation's nursing and nursing faculty shortages. She's also the national director for the Future of Nursing Campaign for Action, a 50-state effort to build nurse-based approaches for transforming the way Americans receive health care. Her commitment to the cause is extensive. She's involved in the American Red Cross's National Nursing Committee, is chair-elect of the Central New Jersey Red Cross, is a fellow of the American Academy of Nursing, and a member of the Joint Commission on Accreditation of Healthcare Organizations' National Nurse Advisory Council. Her list of accolades is just as impressive. She has been honored with numerous awards, including the aforementioned Florence Nightingale Medal. To the list of distinguished honors, today we add one more. Please congratulate Susan Hassmiller. FSU classes of 1977 and 1979